Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our monthly council meeting, June 20, 2022. I'd like to welcome Deputy Mayor McColeman and all of my fellow councillors. And we have our CAO, Rob Philpott, with us tonight, and our Director of Finance, Kristen Dunsford. And on my left here on the controls is Brian Herlick. And I'd like to welcome all the viewers on YouTube, as well as members of the media, if any members are watching. And we'll continue on. The meeting is called to order. And is there a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Councillor McDougall and seconded by Councillor Adams. All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Carried. Any conflict of interests? I do not see any lights on. Okay, is there a motion to approve the monthly council meeting minutes of May 16, 2022 and approval of the special council meeting minutes of May 24, 2022 and June 7, 2022. Moved by Councillor Duran and seconded by Councillor Snow. Any questions? All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Carried. Okay, we have a couple of presentations tonight, and the first one is Johnathon Vickerson. Mr. Vickerson, I believe that podium, the speaker is on, and you're welcome to come to the speaker and give your name and address, and I think there's 15 minutes allotted here for your presentation. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Johnathon Vickerson. I live at 236 South Drive. As many of you know, I have been fighting tooth and nail to get a crossing guard reinstated into our school zone. It's a dangerous corner and people do not stop. Upon watching the children cross the road, nearly getting hit by cars, I stopped on my front lawn and asked them how they thought about that situation. They were clearly petrified from crossing the road. I proceeded to ask those small children who have no parents, guardians, or anybody around them at that time, at that dangerous corner, whether or not they would appreciate a crossing guard. Would anybody like to say what they would anybody like to think what they would say in that situation? No? They said they would really appreciate one. They said they would really like one. They said that that corner is petrifying to them. Now, I stated to you people that that was a dangerous corner. It's in a school zone. I nicely asked you people to please look into that. Did you look into it for me? And what was your conclusion? Would anybody like to speak and see what the conclusion was to your study that you did for me recently?
I know everybody's here tonight to listen to your presentation, and if afterwards, if they have any questions, the opportunity will be there.
Okay, so nobody wants to answer those questions.
No, I didn't say that.
Want to answer your questions. We're trying to be respectful of you to give you the 15 minutes that you asked for to speak.
Go ahead.
I would personally think that it would be a very mature decision to ask the police to go to the school, go to the classrooms, and ask the kids who are risking their little lives to cross that road whether or not they would like a crossing guard or not. I'm sure that financially the city can afford it. Now, I watch too many kids almost get hit by cars at that corner, and there's no way I'm stopping until there's a crossing guard put back there. I don't see what the big deal is. It's so bizarre to me. Where's your moral compass? It is clearly lost. And I think that there's a lot of people in the neighborhood that feel the same. I'll not get into detail about some of the things I've seen at that corner, out of respect for people. But things need to change in this town, and starting with the children's safety is where I'll start. I've been asked by people to make some changes in this town, and I think we'll start there. Whether you like me or not, I will be here in the future. And I will be bringing up things that are of concern to the public. Because some of them are scared to come here. It doesn't sound like democracy to me. Now, it's taken me 3 months to come talk at this meeting. Has it not? You all know that. The Municipal Government Act is a written act. And in that act, it gives people like me the power to do all kinds of nasty things. And I don't want to do those things in any way, shape, or form. But when you will not get a crossing guard in a school zone, that makes me scratch my head. It makes a lot of people scratch their heads, actually. Now, you can put one there or not, I don't really care. But at least I've been able to come here after a war and speak, because that is every person's right. And that right has been taken away from me before. So you cannot sit here and tell me that that is otherwise. Thank you very much for your time. I suggest you send the police to ask the children. I have kids. I know all of you have relations to children. I do not understand why you want them to cross that dangerous road. It makes no sense to me. Have a good day, and thank you very much. We'll see you in the future.
Thank you for your presentation. Okay, we'll continue on here. Is there another presentation to be made? Oh, the number 2 is not present? Okay. Okay, we'll continue on with the agenda. And correspondence. It's been a wickedly busy few weeks or few months, and I'll just glance over some things here. I know there have been a number of meetings for the Canada Games, which is great, and we've attended a number of those meetings in Summerside and Charlottetown and Borden, and more coming up this week. And I know how busy Councillor McFeely is looking after that side of it too. And also I visited the closing ceremonies for the employment to work program last week, the graduation. And that was the one I'd mentioned, about the one in Borden for the kickoff for the torch run. And there was one in New Glasgow for the Prince Edward Island Construction Association's annual meeting. And here's one, I guess this Thursday coming up, the PEI Federation of Municipalities meeting in Charlottetown, June the 23rd, 12 noon. And this is another one for June the 23rd at 74 Summer Street, the connection to employment. Oh, sorry. And this was another one for the Canada Games tomorrow night here in Summerside. And just to go over a couple more of them fairly quickly here. Career Bridges, we're at the graduation there last Friday for that. And Crime Stoppers, I believe Councillor Ramsey had represented the city today at the Crime Stoppers annual meeting. I was tied up at another function, I couldn't make it down, so you may report on that as you give your report. And this was one on the 16th of June that we attended for the connection to employment. And we'll just move through these quickly as possible. I guess that's pretty well it. Now we're getting ready for the Canada Day ceremonies, and there will be, there was a notice to attend the Maritime Electric annual meeting, and I was unable to attend on June the 16th, and there may have been some city staff members to attend that. And so that's all I have to mention for now is on the communications, because there's been so many invitations with so many things and meetings. So, but if any councillors got anything, any events or things they want to comment when they're given the report, the floor will be yours or theirs. Okay, we'll continue on with the agenda. Financial Services Chair, Councillor Norma McColeman, you have a report.
I do, Your Worship. Thank you. I'd like to just say good evening to my colleagues on City Council and to residents and business members, as well as anybody that's following on live stream, YouTube, on behalf of the City of Summerside. Tonight, my report will start with an update on the status of our utility accounts receivable. As of June 14th, 2022, the following is being reported. Total overdue balance is $121,000 compared to $174,200 this time last year. Approximately 3.4% or $4,100 of the overdue balance is greater than 60 days past due. This compares to 1.6% or $2,839 in June 2021. A few reminders to our residents and people watching on our utility customers. A customer portal is available where you can review your account details, access your utility bills, and make payments by credit card or Visa debit. Please see our website at www.summerside.ca and click on My Utilities in the top right-hand corner to access this portal. Or we can send you an invitation to create your account. A budget billing, I have bullets on my mind, I guess. A budget billing program which calculates a fixed monthly installment based on the prior 12-month period is available for residential customers. The application form is available on our website. The following convenient options are available for making payments on your utility accounts. Pre-authorized payment through your bank account or credit card, electronic payment through your financial institution, or by credit card or Visa debit on our customer portal. If you have any questions regarding these options, please contact 902-432-1230, or you can email customerservice@summerside.ca, and that's all lowercase together. Our year-end audit is in progress, and we are on target to meet our deadlines as set by the Government of Prince Edward Island. In the next couple of weeks, we will be setting our annual meeting date, which will likely be held in early July. Our preliminary results are projecting a small surplus for 2021-22. We will report on 2022-23 year-to-date results when our first quarter numbers are available in July. I'd like to take this opportunity to just present this report on behalf of Financial Services, and either myself or the Chief Financial Officer are available to take any questions. And if there's any questions, I'll just let my colleague members know that included in your package, you will have a projection by fund as of March 31st, 2022, the revenue and expenses, both projected and the allocated budget. And it will also show you the operating surplus that is there that I had just reported on a few moments ago. As well, in your package of information, you will receive your capital projections as of March 31st, 2022, which gives a breakdown of all of the departments for the general fund and the utility fund, the breakdown for electric, water, and sewer, and the total funded by debt financing and capital expenditures. And in closing, are there any questions?
Any questions for the Chair of Finance? I do not see any speaker. I'd like to, Councillor Snow.
I'm curious, under projection 2021-2022, and then the budget under fire services, it's 54,500, but budgeted was 2,400. So I'm just wondering what that revenue. It's under revenue. So what would the increase of revenue be in fire?
It came from the provincial government for the purchase of equipment.
Yeah. Okay.
$50,000.
So it's going to be an in and out.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, I just have a few very brief comments. I just wanted to mention this afternoon, Your Worship, as well as myself, we attended the annual meeting for Connections to Employment, which is the East Prince Youth Development Center at Holland College campus. And it was really nice to see, and I know that we were very impressed how active they are. And they now have 28 employees from that one beginning program, and working very hard. And the other thing that I think is worth noting, and I said that I would mention it tonight, They are adding to their services a waterfront cafe, Summerside Waterfront Cafe. It's in where Z&G Restaurant was, so it's right in the downtown core. And they have a wonderful menu. And if people want to have meetings, small business meetings or whatnot, they will also cater. And I just want to give a shout out to them because I think they're really trying hard and they're trying to be very innovative in what they do. And it was really nice to see, they're pretty well across Prince Edward Island now with the types of programming that they're offering. And so I think it's really nice when you see that type of initiative when they're trying. So this is another thing that we could probably support through council when we do lunch meetings. So just a shout out to them.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I do not see any speaker lights on, so we'll continue on. I believe, Councillor Adams, you have HR, Legal Affairs, Culture, Summerside, Policy, and Bylaw Review Committee.
Okay,
Floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll stand for a couple of these committees, and then once we get into the policy bylaw review, it's going to be a little bit, and Ian and CAO Rob are gonna.
And if we can
me
speak
through that.
closely into the mic, I know it's mentioned once in a while, but, so it would be great if you can speak right into the mic.
So the Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee, as well as department subcommittees, continue to meet on a regular basis. The department provided support at various meetings this month. Health and wellness programs for staff are continuing throughout the spring and summer. There are 52 staff signed up with the most recent initiative. Job postings are currently open for a part-time seasonal bylaw enforcement officer. Competitions are continuing for a GIS CAD foreman. First aid, CPR, and AED training continue to be held for staff. Summer staff have been hired for Culture Summerside, and a summer student funding has been received through Skills PEI for 2 positions and Jobs for Youth of 2 positions. And that is all for HR Legal Affairs, Your Worship.
Okay, any questions for the chair?
Okay.
I do not see any speaker lights on. Continue.
Okay, I'll carry on into Culture Summerside. The Three Oaks High School graduation art exhibit opened at Lafergie Cultural Center on June 3rd, and it runs until June the 28th. This was the 14th year of the partnership between Culture Summerside and Tosh in presenting this show. Summer students have begun their training as museum interpretive guides and frontline workers. The tourist season is well underway and it's already busier than the last couple of years, which is nice that we hopefully are on the rebound. The Old Fashioned Carnival is happening on Friday, June 24th from 4 to 7. The carnival has become an important community celebration, which many families look forward to. This is the Old Fashioned Carnival's first year back since the onset of COVID. Culture Summerside is happy to be able to offer this event again to the community, and I know a lot of people reached out both years when it was canceled, and while everybody understood, everybody was quite disappointed because it is quite affordable and a fun family event. The Summerside Lobster Carnival program, July 5th to the 9th this year, is set, and Culture Summerside has the ongoing task of marketing, organizing parade details, finalizing, implementing, and reaching out to community for volunteers, parade entries, and building of excitement. And details can be found at summersidelobstercarnival.ca. On July 18, 19, and 20, Wide Heritage Properties, Inc. will deliver an exciting lineup for the 2022 Summerside Arts Festival in Summerside. The festival will encompass many art and artisan demonstrations, live music, a drive-through art exhibit, gallery visits, painting, basket making workshops, the installation of sculptural masterpieces, and much more. In 2022, Wide Heritage Properties continues to challenge the community on the topic of consumption and encourage artists to consider the potential of recycled materials as a medium in the creation of their new work. Festival goers will need to refresh to see our artistic community's most up-to-date uses of everyday materials. The Refresh project will feature sculptural works at a scale larger than 5 feet tall and 2 feet wide. Artists need to barter and trade for their materials. Aside from adhesives, no new materials are allowed to be purchased. This art project is inspired by the City of Summerside's continued commitment of lessening its impact on the environment. The Summerside Armory renovation project is coming to a close. And very excited to announce that the official opening of the Summerside Interpretive Center and PEI Fox Museum is scheduled for June 29th at 6:30 p.m. That's all I have for
Any
that, Your
questions
Worship.
for the chair and the culture department? We look forward to that opening,
I
the
know,
Armory
it's
building.
exciting. Very
Yeah.
nice, yeah,
Great work, and
very
look
exciting.
forward to that.
We'll go into Bylaw Policy Review Committee and we'll get CAO Rob and Ian both to come up, or how, Ian, okay, Ian, you're it. So I'll sit down so that I'm closer.
Mr. McCarville,
Good evening.
welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, would you like me to jump in?
Do you want me to read my little bit here? And
Sure.
then you can, while you get prepared? Okay.
Great.
So, good evening again. I'm Mayor and all members of council and residents of Summerside that are listening in. This is just to bring everyone up to date on the latest efforts of the BPR committee. This evening, we will be conducting the second reading of proposed changes to the city's elections bylaw. The amended bylaw incorporates various changes identified by Elections PEI to make the city's elections bylaw fully consistent with the other large municipalities, as well as the new regulatory amendments. As council is aware, BPR committee has been working on proposed revisions to the unsightly premises bylaw. The goal is to strengthen the definition of what constitutes an unsightly or dilapidated property, as well as to propose some options for addressing properties that have been vacant for an extended period of time. The committee has completed its work on this and presented this revised bylaw and a new vacant properties bylaw at the last May committee meetings of council. Tonight, we will also be conducting second readings of these bylaws. If they are adopted by council, they will both take effect tonight following the meeting of council. Finally, BPR committee will look at the process to issue mobile sales establishment licenses in situations where the applicant may only be operating for a short period of time. Most licenses are issued for a full summer season, but we will assess whether in future allowances may be made for applicants who are planning to operate for part of the season. This concludes my report for the month of July, and CAO Rob and myself can answer any questions, and if there's none, we'll go to Ian and then carry on.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Councillor Adams, good evening, Your Worship, members of council.
If I just mention this, sorry, Councillor Adams, and I like the way they use the word "or" in there. It's an unsightly or dilapidated. So, but an unsightly one could probably not be dilapidated too. So that's the way it's broken down.
Yes, Your Worship, so I'll bring up the definition. So yeah, there is a dilapidated building or structure definition in there. So at the top level, the broadest definition is unsightly property that includes a bunch of different things. So yeah, you can have a property that's unsightly but not dilapidated, but a dilapidated property fits under the definition of an unsightly property. If that makes sense. So yeah, the first bylaw I guess we've got this evening is the bylaw to amend the elections bylaw, bylaw number CS-1-D. For the record, we do have printed copies here for members of the public, should they wish to review. And the short description of this bylaw is a bylaw to amend the elections bylaw. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those, but otherwise we'd be ready for a second reading.
Perfect. So, resolution COS 21-087. Oh, sorry, you're in property one, right? You're in unsightly property?
No, this is
Oh,
the
you're
elections
good
bylaw.
still? Okay, perfect. I just didn't have that number on my sheet, so I'm just making sure I'm not messing anything up. COS 21-007, moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Norma McColeman, whereas amendments are required to the CS-1 elections bylaw, and whereas CS-1-D, a bylaw to amend elections bylaw, was read and formally approved a first time at the May 16, 2022 council meeting, be it resolved that CS-1-D, a bylaw to amend the elections bylaw, be read a second time, and Schedule A and the actual bylaw is attached in the package, and that was also, these are all online, so. Okay,
Is this a similar bylaw, Madam Chair, as, let's take Cornwall and Stratford and Charlottetown?
Yes, Your Worship. So the Elections PEI took a look at the city's elections bylaw and suggested some changes so that there would be consistency between the big four municipalities. And they've had a look at this bylaw as well as the consolidated version that I've prepared to go up on the city's website and given us the thumbs up.
Thank you. So it's been moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Deputy Mayor McColeman. Any questions? All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Carried. Thank you.
okay, and we'll go on to resolution COS 22-088, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Justin Duran. Be it resolved that CS-1-D bylaw to amend the elections bylaw be declared read a second time.
No, we did it, the other one. This is moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor Duran. You've all heard the resolution or the motion. Any questions? All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Carried.
Resolution COS 22-089, moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Norma McColeman, whereas CS-1-D, a bylaw to amend the elections bylaw, was read and formally approved a first time at the May 16, 2022 council meeting, and whereas CS-1-D, a bylaw to amend the elections bylaw, was read a second time at this council meeting, be it resolved that CS-1-D, a bylaw to amend the elections bylaw, be hereby formally adopted.
Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor McColeman, or Deputy Mayor McColeman. Any questions on the resolution? Councillor Snow.
Just clarification, Councillor Adams, you said 22-089, and mine, in my pamphlet says 21.
Yeah, they're supposed to be 22.
Okay, perfect, I just want to make
Yeah.
sure.
So, yeah, what you're seeing is 21, and we corrected them before we
Okay,
signed
perfect.
them. Sorry, I should
No,
have
no,
noted
sorry.
that.
Good.
All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Carried.
So we go on to the unsightly ones now. Ian, did you want to say anything before?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, so this is the unsightly property bylaw. It's bylaw number CS-11. It will replace the existing dangerous, hazardous, and unsightly premises bylaw, which is currently bylaw CS-11. So we're going to be repealing that current bylaw and replacing it with a new unsightly property bylaw. A short description is a bylaw to provide minimum property standards and manage unsightly properties in the city of Summerside. And we had first reading at the last monthly council meeting, but I'm happy to answer any questions that may be had. I guess I should note as well for the record that we do have printed copies available for members of the public should they wish to review them.
Perfect.
So when
And-
this passed tonight, Councillor Adams, and that's effective as soon as it's passed?
Indeed.
So
After
when you
this
say
meeting.
members of the public have access to it, they really won't know about it or see it until now?
Yes, and everything was online. All these,
Okay.
yeah, this was all online. The full package
Okay.
was available.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll go right into resolution COS 22-090, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Justin Duran. Whereas a bylaw is required to provide minimum property standards and manage unsightly properties in the city of Summerside, and whereas CS-11 unsightly property bylaw was read and formally approved a first time at the May 16, 2022 council meeting, be it resolved that CS-11 unsightly property bylaw be read a second time. And Schedule A and CS-11 are both attached.
Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor Duran. Any questions? All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Carried.
Okay. And resolution COS 22-091, moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Norma McColeman. Be it resolved, CS-11 unsightly property bylaw be declared read a second time.
And this was 21091?
22091.
21091, is it?
22.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Deputy Mayor McColeman. All in favour say aye. Aye. Contrary nay. Carried.
Okay, and resolution COS 22-092. And that's a change again to what was handed originally, whereas CS-11, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Justin Duran, whereas CS-11 unsightly property bylaw was read and formally approved a first time at the May 16, 2022 council meeting, and whereas CS-11 unsightly property bylaw was read a second time at this council meeting, be it resolved that CS-11 unsightly property bylaw hereby be formally adopted.
So I bounced back and forth here. That's moved by yourself and seconded by whom again? Was it Councillor Drawn?
Yep.
Okay. All in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary nay. Carried.
So the next one is a vacant building bylaw. Did you want to chat on that one first?
Sure. So the next bylaw, Your Worship, is the vacant building bylaw. It's bylaw number CS-36. A short description is a bylaw to govern vacant buildings within the city of Summerside. We do have printed copies available here for members of the public as well. I believe it received first reading at the last council meeting, and there were two short amendments that I will read into the record. The MGA requires us to read any amendments that have been made between first and second reading in full, so just for the purpose of the record, I can read those in. Under section 2.1, we've added the words nuisances, dangerous, or unsightly property to the third line. So I'll just read section 2.1. Section 180 of the Municipal Government Act, RSPEI 1988, chapter M-12.1, authorizes council to enact bylaws for municipal purposes respecting the safety, health, and welfare of people and the protection of persons and property, nuisances, dangerous, or unsightly property, as well as the regulation of real property maintenance. The next amendment was to section 17.1, which is at page 8 of the bylaw. We basically removed the words 180 and substituted 60. So that provision will now read, an owner of a building which constitutes a vacant building on the day this bylaw comes into force shall have 60 days from the day this bylaw comes into force to bring the vacant building into compliance.
Good. Okay. So we'll go into right into the resolution, COS 22-093.
Could I just ask the question on that other
Sure.
one? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. No.
I know the 60 days, and I know it was, the days numbers were bounced around, but what happens, let's say if there was a Hurricane Duran or Dorian happened in that, is there a little wiggle room there for somebody for 60 days if something did happen, a storm or whatever, probably?
I think there is some wiggle room there, Your Worship, with the inspector who would ultimately be responsible for administering the bylaw.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Just have
Yes, go ahead.
a question there as well.
Yeah.
Under the definitions there, vacant building means any building that has not been occupied for at least 90 days by the owner or a person authorized by the owner. So, just for clarity purposes for people, so if I go south for 6 months and my building isn't occupied for that period of time,
Indeed, Councillor McFeely. So you'll see at section 12, we've created some exemptions to the requirement to get a permit. One of them is a vacant building which is occupied by the owner or a person authorized by them on a seasonal basis. So seasonal dwellings would be exempt.
Okay, gotcha. I missed that. Thank you.
Well, would they be exempt, depending on the condition, maybe, would it? I mean, could that be used as an excuse?
If we're talking about kind of unsightly properties, Your Worship, they're not exempt on that. This is the bylaw that's about the permit for it being vacant. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it's resolution COS 22-093, moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Norma McColeman, whereas it is desirable to regulate and secure vacant buildings within the city of Summerside, and whereas CS-36 vacant building bylaw was read and formally approved a first time at the May 16, 2022 council meeting, be it resolved that CS-36 vacant building bylaw be read a second time.
Moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Deputy Mayor McColeman. Any questions? All in favour say aye. Contrary nay. Carried.
Okay, and we'll go into the next one, resolution COS 22-094, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Justin Duran. Be it resolved that CS-36 vacant building bylaw be declared read a second time.
Do we need the date on being read the second time, or is it, I guess,
It's up at the top, I think.
it's on
up
the,
at-
on the resolution at the top?
It's on the resolution at the top.
Okay, moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor Drawn. All in favour say aye. Contrary nay. Carried.
Okay, and the final one is resolution COS 22-095, moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Norma McColeman, whereas CS-36 vacant building bylaw was read and formally approved a first time at the May 16, 2022 council meeting, and whereas CS-36 vacant building bylaw was read a second time at this council meeting, be resolved that CS-36 vacant building bylaw hereby be formally adopted.
Moved by Councillor Adams and seconded by Councillor, or Deputy Mayor McColeman. All in favour say aye. Contrary nay. Carried.
That's it for me. Thank you, Ian.
Okay, thank your worship, members of council. I think that's it for me.
Thank
Okay.
you very much, Ian. Okay, we'll continue on through all of those resolutions. And who is up next? Councillor Snow, you have our Community Services Report.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to start by thanking Director J.P. DeRoger, who compiled the report. May is often the month the Community Service Department switches gears and prepares for warmer months ahead. From park and green space preparation to ice removal in the arenas, May is a busy month all around for the department. In concert news, Jan Arden was at Credit Union Place on May 18th as she took the stage in front of more than 1,500 people. Later that month, Credit Union Place announced the return of Brian Adams, who will play at Credit Union Place on Wednesday, August 31st. This will mark Brian's fourth show in Summerside, previously playing in 2012, 2014, and 2018, each of which was sold out, and staff expect this one will be no different. Minor hockey tournaments continued into May, this year with Summerside playing host to the 13U Pee-wee Atlantics at Credit Union Place, which attracted teams from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Prince Edward Island. The 2021-2022 Maritime Hockey League champ Summerside Western Capitals traveled to Estevan, Saskatchewan for the Centennial Cup. The Summerside Western Capitals dropped a 4-3 decision to the College Francois de la Gille in the quarterfinals to end the season. It was an impressive season, and the Caps will remember for many years to come. The Dome hosted its first of two events in May with the Atlantic Gymnastics Championships and the Provincial Powerlifting Championships. Both were well attended by both participants and fans, and these events helped showcase the versatility of PEI's newest sport and recreation facility. Birthday parties continue to be in high demand, with 17 throughout the month of May, while meeting rooms and convention center continue to see steady traffic with 37 bookings and are looking towards a busy summer with a long list of events. That is my report, Your Worship.
And as well, you had a great successful weekend with the ball street hockey. 32 teams, I understand?
Yeah, we had the street hockey, and this past weekend seen our first baseball event here in Summerside. We have a long list of ball events coming this summer, and it's going to be a busy one ahead of us for sure.
And as well, I think the season is over for the New York Rangers. We pass on congratulations to Gerard Gallant and the tremendous season he had. And now we, local guy, Grant Saunier, was with the Tampa Bay Lightning, so he pulled it off last year, so
Yeah,
may happen again this year.
Was a little bit sad to see Turk and the Rangers be put out. Being a Leafs fan, I was sad to begin with seeing them be put out, and then started cheering for Turk, and he got put out. So maybe I'm just not very lucky to them. But like you say, Grant, who was a constituent of mine. I wish him nothing but the best. They're in tough though. Colorado's a good team, but Tampa's got lots of experience. So.
Of course, the Leafs were down. The Rangers had the team down 2 games. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, it was a great year for Gerard.
It was,
You
definitely.
know, I mean, he did so well all year, and so they'll be there next year.
That's for sure.
He just keeps going up and up and up.
I believe Councillor Campbell,
Go
and
ahead.
then
Yeah, just,
Councillor Ramsey, and then Deputy Mayor.
I heard a comment about the birthday parties, and the little fellas are having a blast in that new dough, really enjoying it.
The new dome, yes.
Yeah, the new dome is amazing. So it's being used very heavily.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. Councillor Ramsey?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Nick Cameron and Serena Smith, Corey, on the Summerside Adult Sports Social come tryout night. They came to Corey and I there a few weeks ago, and we met with John Paul, and the next thing you know, they've got something going for young adults. And so they've already had one fun night of tryouts, and their next night is the 22nd, which is tomorrow, 2 nights from now, and they really want everybody to come out and try the different sports. And I think in September, they're going to be running with maybe a 6-month. Is that how it's going to go, Corey? So, do you
Yeah,
know?
it's going to run for a period of time. So basically, what
People
it
can
is,
register.
It's intramurals for adults. If you remember when you were in school and you played different sports, whether or not it's flag football, soccer, baseball, pickleball, just whatever new sports that people don't necessarily get out and get to play a lot. So a couple very community-minded residents came to the city and said, "Hey, we want to run this program. Can we utilize your facility?" And they've took the reins, and
Yeah.
JP and his staff have backed them up. And the first night was a
100%.
big success, and I expect to see it to continue. And then in the fall, they hope to roll it out as a full-time thing. So
And
good to see.
it's just a real fun social night for people with young people with children to get out one night a week and gather with friends and away for. In fact, Serena, when she came to me, she's a new lawyer here in town, and she said, "I don't know anyone, and this would be a way for me to get to know people." And sure enough, her and Nick took off, and away they go. So I think it's a great community event, and it's nice to see it in Summerside. So, and it doesn't. There's no age limit. Mizey's already been out there playing with them on their first night, so there's no age limit.
Everybody's welcome.
And as well, Councillor Snow, the minor ball season is here, and that's very busy and very active as well. And plus, the Lobster Carnival's coming up, and I think we got the next council meeting will be after that. And I know Councillor Ramsey and Councillor McDougall are working hard, and yourself on the music talent contest. And I understand it's sold out, and they had to cut the numbers off at 30, and so that's going to be a great show that night. So it's great to see things so busy around both the ballpark and Credit Union Place. And the Lobster Carnival Parade, I understand, is going to be another good one this year, so
Yeah, it's
exciting times.
going to be a busy summer
We're
ahead.
not standing still this
For
year
sure.
for the parade.
The summer will fly by. Is it my turn?
Councillors?
Okay.
Deputy Mayor, go.
Councillor Corey, are you finished, Councillor Byrne? Oh, you're
I'm
waiting,
sorry.
okay. I just wanted to, Councillor Corey, just give a shout out through you as chair to the community service folks and Director JP for the sprucing up downtown. They're doing some planting, and there's some things coming, and they've been working very hard, and I've heard people making comments. So just want to pass that through community service, a big thank you. It's appreciated. And Rose Dennis, I've met with her already. She's the kind of the working in both roles, Explore Summerside for tourism and downtown Summerside. So Director Kristen and I are meeting with her tomorrow. In the meeting with her, very focused on her plans for downtown, and I think she's got some good ideas, and she's just feeling really good working with Director JP, so I want to mention that. And if I may tag on to your report, Classic Car Nights with Robert Gallant is coming back July and August downtown, and I think people are pretty excited about that. So thanks for all of the support from community services.
No, that's great. Community services staff have been working really hard, and just so people know, they were a little slower than normal rolling out, but we had some COVID type stuff that kept people off the payroll. Well, not still on the payroll, but off the schedule. So we were a little bit slower to getting things than normal, but they've definitely been catching up in a hurry.
Thank
That's
you.
my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Snow. So I'd like to welcome our fire chief is with us. Mr. Inman, welcome. You never know what will be on the agenda before too long here. Anyway, I believe, Councillor McDougall, you have municipal services and you're going to tell us about your street sweeper.
I do, and I might. So I have a report here done up by Director Greg Goody. The usual treatment plant maintenance was performed for the month. Public Works has completed repairing rights of way with topsoil and seeding. Again, if there's any that we've missed, just call the Public Works. The new crosswalk installed and by the Dome, complete with signage and painting. The temporary speed bumps have been installed on Maple Avenue, Acona Street, and Willow Avenue. New flags for crosswalks installed on Maple and Central. The roadway asphalt repairs have been started and will continue until the end of July. 8 driveway culverts have been repaired this month due to frost heave damage. Traffic line painting continues, but the paint availability is becoming an issue and the operations are on their last of the supply. The order for paint has been done in March and no arrival of supplies yet. Normally this is a 2 to 4 week turnaround time. Boardwalk repairs have been completed. Spot repairs will continue as they are identified. Sidewalk repairs for hazards continue for the month and are expected to be complete by mid-July. Water utility is working with contractors on capital replacement job on Central Street to assist with the construction of the replacement mains. And all water main breaks from the winter have been repaired with asphalt and concrete removed from the roadway. I want to remind people that we still have some rain barrels in stock and can be picked up at municipal services. And the street sweeper, our new street sweeper, will be in operation in the first week of July. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be in the parade, will it?
Pardon?
Maybe it'll be in the lobster carnival parade.
No, it's going to be busy. Yeah, but it should be here around the first week or so of July. So we'll be, I know there's lots of people calling for it and looking for it, but anyway, it's like a lot of things these days. It's late arriving, but we're going to be glad when it's here. 24 water samples were taken with clear of bacteria, and 12 chlorination samples, and they were all within parameters. 18 new water sewer connections and 7 water main taps were performed for the month. 195,000 gallons of septics received at the plant from outlying areas, and 316 tons of biofertilizer was created this month. We're doing a good job. That's my report, Your Worship.
Just a couple of questions there. I know you mentioned the speed bumps or the speed humps or lumps or whatever they're called. I know it was bothering some people on Maple Avenue. When I say some people, the neighbors, that the trucks were hitting them, the cars were hitting them, and it was probably slowing the traffic down. But I believe Councillor or Deputy Mayor McColeman had some discussion with some of the neighbors there. Are they going to be temporarily there for a while, or what's the story in that? But they can be kind of noisy, you know, but they do slow the traffic down. So.
Just CAO Rob and myself, we met with the gentleman on Maple Avenue and just talked it out. Very, very understanding, and I think right now, CAO Rob, it's going to be possibly part-time, or not part-time, but.
Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, the speed bump is down temporarily. It will be taken up at early in the fall, obviously, because being a temporary speed bump, we don't want it to be damaged by snow clearing efforts. But in the meantime, with the placement of this speed bump there, we're also monitoring, I guess you could say, the before and after in terms of traffic impacts and speeding and what have you. And we'll have a recommendation to bring forward to council, I guess, early in the new year about whether we go with a more permanent speed bump at that location or not at all.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just a question on that then. I just had one more, and it's in your area. Phillips Avenue resident had some work done or the city did some work on the street, and it never got repaired. back to where it was. Do you know anything about that, when that can be done?
Is that Mr. Glenn?
Yeah,
It's in the process right now.
it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As in,
It should-
go ahead.
It should be being done this week,
Okay, good.
I think. Yeah.
'Cause,
I'm pretty sure, because we had talked about it last week. I think it's this week's being done.
Okay,
Perfect.
good, because I had gotten
Yeah.
calls on that as well.
No, I talked to Mr. Glenn. And
Councillor Ramsey?
Councillor Ramsey.
Okay, I just can't
sure.
let this evening go by without mentioning that street sweeper. I've gotten some calls, and I've also seen lots of messages on Facebook, and I think people just aren't understanding that we don't have one right now. They don't realize, and they wonder where it is, and why is the downtown looking the way it's looking, and this and that. So I spoke with Councillor McDougall today on that, and one of the things I thought might work, CAO Rob, is that if the city could put a little maybe blurb on their web page or their Facebook page, and then we as councillors could copy it and maybe get it out to the people that way. Just that it is on its way and that we don't have one right now, and yeah, because they don't have the answers, and I called Greg today and got the answer, but
I'm sure that
Yeah.
Our CAO can do that.
that might help, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Was there anything else?
No, you still have the floor, sir.
Thank you. I just wanted to pass on congratulations to Alan and Heather Thorpe on the opening of Serenity Gardens.
Yes.
Your Worship and myself attended on Saturday. It's a beautiful little spot in just off of South Drive, 45 South Drive, and it's been a labor of love. They have just slugged away at that for the last year and a half. But anyway, I just wanted to wish them all the best and let everybody know. I do have something I'd like to. I know we had Mr. Vickerson was here earlier, and I'd just like to. When Mr. Vickerson contacted me first, there's 3 crosswalks there. There's one where we have the flashing lights. There's one at the end of Pope and South. There's also the one that goes from Derby across. Derby? No, Charlotte across. So when I was made aware that there was a concern, I contacted the Greenfield School, and I talked to the deputy, the vice principal, and I asked them if there was any concerns, and they had no concerns. There was a concern that was brought up a year or so ago, and it was dealt with. I had asked them to contact the home and school, and I had talked to one person in the home and school, and I asked them to contact me if there was any issue. I have never received a request or a comment from any resident, social media, or personally on that. But I would like to ask the police department if they would go to the school and ask if there's any concerns with any of the crosswalks there, because I'm not sure which crosswalk we were talking about tonight. There's 3 there. But if we could just have the police follow up and visit the school to see if there's any issue there. I guess that's all I can do. Anyway,
So just to follow, to make sure that happens, would you pass that on through the CAO to
I would ask the CAO to
You have
follow up
somebody
with the
designate
police
somebody.
department, yeah. And so that's all I have. I just wanted to clarify that there has been some concern there, and I addressed it, so thank you.
Okay, any further questions for the Chair of Municipal Services? I do not see any speaker lights on, so Councillor Campbell, how are the windmills working?
Windmills are slowing up on me.
They're slowing up on you. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Worship. Advanced Rentals No Locations meter has been installed. Nice to see that building getting cleaned up. We replaced the traffic light at Sobeys. Meter changes continue for the 2022. Engine 1 maintenance is completed. Boardwalk lighting repairs at Staples and Mackenzie Drive. Engine 5 maintenance is completed. Pedestrian bottom replacement, button replaced on Walker Avenue and Granville Street. Cooling pond at power plant draining and annual maintenance completed. And our electric utility, 35% of our electricity came from wind this month, which is down about 15%. Generator run hours are 53.1. 61% increase in new services over last year, so that's starting to show up now. 2 heat for less service calls. 21 new electric customers energized this month. 3 electrical service upgrades, 10 new poles, 11 were removed. 6 transformers were installed, 3 removed. 36 service calls were responded to this month. 18 appliances were sold to the Heat for Less program, from the Heat for Less program. Total now is at 493. The Central Street pole replacement project has been completed. Citywide outages that occurred last month was one on May the 22nd due to a failure of an insulator that was online, and the other one was a scheduled maintenance on May the 29th. Repaired gang switch in front of the Cineplex, which has been really busy. I was there last night and watched the movie. And Top Gun, it was really good. Sunbank project continued with 90% of the pilings completed and 8% of the metal tracking was installed. And there's been one tender issued for June the 24th in the Sunbank project in connection with the Summerside electric grid. And that, Your Worship, is my report.
Thank you, Councillor Campbell. But you mentioned there's 61% increase in new services over last year. That certainly shows the tremendous growth that we've been having with a 61% increase over last year. So, and you know, and this is early in the summer, so by the time the fall is here, it'll be a lot higher than that. Anyway, thank you for that, and if you get anything further to add, the floor is still yours.
No, that's it, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any questions for the Chair of Electrical? No questions. Okay, thank you, Councillor Campbell. We'll continue on. Councillor Drawn, things are busy, as we just mentioned, in tech services.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Feel the need for speed, so I'll run through this as fast as I can. First, I'll just start by saying happy belated Father's Day to everyone. I think everyone here is a father. Well, all the men around the room, anyway. Hope you all did as little or as much as you wanted to yesterday, or were told to do. The 2022 construction season and capital projects continue. All of the tenders for this season have closed. The construction and the inspection of these jobs will continue over the next number of months. The work continues on the Central Street water main replacement project and will continue for the entire construction season. Paving and sidewalk tenders are set to begin shortly, with the infill tender starting later this summer. The city has updated the web page to outline the various projects throughout the city to be done this year, and will provide regular updates to the status of individual sections or projects. Staff continues to review and assist the public with pending developments and building permits to be issued for this year. Staff have been busy with a few planning-related activities this past month. This month, we again have a number of applications to bring through the various meeting stages for consideration. 23 building permits with a value of a little over $1.8 million were issued for the month of May, with a total year-to-date of 106 permits for a value of $22 million. We issued 3 permits for change of use for tourism rentals and home-based business, 2 permits for demolitions, and we also issued 4 permits for renovations and additions. We also issued 4 permits for 2 semi-detached, 5 mini home placements, 3 permits for pools, decks, and accessory buildings, and this is a typical mix of permits for this time of year as homeowners are renovating their properties. Developers are stopping in and speaking to staff for assistance with their proposed projects for 2022, and citizens are also encouraged to continue to ask for assistance with their projects that they may have planned for 2022. And that concludes our Tech Services report, and thank you to Aaron McDonald, the Director of Tech Services, for preparing that for this month.
Thank you, Councillor Drawn. Any questions for the Chair of Tech Services? I do not see any questions. Do you have anything further to add?
I have nothing more, Your Worship.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll continue on. I believe Councillor McFeely, you have an economic development report.
I do, Your Worship. Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank Mike Teteska, Director, for preparing the report, and certainly pleased to provide this brief summary of the activities of the department for the month. Again, this past month has been filled with a high level of demand for investment advice in Summerside, being driven by local pent-up demand as well as new business establishments committing to Summerside. Obviously, with the current market conditions in Summerside, we are constantly working hard to satisfy demand both in terms of commercial and industrial space, but also assist partner organizations and business with their needs for housing in Summerside. The office has handled over 56 unique client inquiries on every subject from residential to commercial space needs, labor supply, and other pertinent investment informations on our market. And that was in the month of May. Obviously, immigration continues to be the driving force in our growth, and to put that into perspective, 1 year ago, 95 of the approved 234 Summerside PNP entrepreneurs had landed in PEI. Now we have passed the halfway point with 140 of the 234 having landed, with the remaining people arriving over the next 3 years. In 2021, Summerside had 16.3% of all PEI immigrants residing in Summerside. In 2015, that number was 2.1. So we have made some strides, and in many cases, our growth is being driven through that particular group. We are seeing a surge in information technology companies, expansions and startups, and the constriction in space continue to hamper our efforts to grow the economy. But we are making strides, and recently Blue Wave Artificial Intelligence just hired its first 2 talent program specialists, homegrown right here in PEI. So that was a company that started in Summerside now has roots here and is growing, so it's a good news story. As for Summerside leadership in clean tech space, all of us are well aware of the $66 million project, and the lead contractor and its subsidiaries are employing over 14 Islanders, some who are still students getting hands-on experience, and hiring an additional 11 UPI and Holland College students to work with Aspen, Kent and Associates in the hiring of local contractors and suppliers, with estimate contracts of over $1 million to these local suppliers. Not only is Summerside leading the way in clean tech, but is also investing heavily in local talent and skills. Our leadership on the health recruitment file continues to absorb vast amounts of our office resources with our new collaborative model as we try to assist in attracting and settling new medical practitioners. I know, Your Worship, you and I have had the pleasure of meeting with a couple of those young doctors who are looking at coming to Summerside and trying to set Summerside aside as a special place that they may want to consider their practice as they move to graduation. It's a tough field, and it's not unique to Summerside. It's really all over the world, North America particularly. So. The office continues to work through some of its legacy files, including Core Block, Hip Install, and Holland College, as well as the Echo Park Building 1. We hope to be able to speak publicly about all the progress we have on these files sometime in the near future. The office has met on several occasions with some significant investors looking to transform some of our downtown real estate, in which we hope to announce in short order various partnerships. Finally, the office is spearheading a GHG benchmark study and working on a path forward net zero tactical plan slated to be completed in the fall. So this concludes the report, Your Worship, and I don't know if there's any questions.
Thank you, Councillor McFeely. Any questions for the Chair of Economic Development?
There's no questions. I do have a comment, Your Worship.
Go
I
ahead,
had the
sir.
pleasure, a couple weekends ago now, weekend before last, of hosting the Canada Games Council National Board meetings here in PEI, and did a tour, and the Saturday morning that we came to Summerside, was a beehive of activity around Credit Union Place. So it was wonderful. The ball hockey was happening, all kinds of stuff going on at the Canada Games Dome, activity on the soccer field, and there was stuff going on in the beach volleyball facility as well as the tennis court. So everything was in use, and the board noted that that whole transformation of that area was done through Canada Games dollars. Canada Games had invested in roughly $11 million in those venues there. So it talks about the power of sport and the power of the Canada Games to transform communities. It's really, those of us that remember, it was basically a dump up there, and so there's quite a transformation there. So, and then this week we're hosting in Summerside our sponsor summit, first sponsor summit. We have 50 delegates in from our sponsors from across the country, and they're in Summerside starting tonight until Wednesday. So it's the games are starting to come alive, Your Worship. So
Yes. Yes, I've attended a number of the events, and I know how busy you have been, you and your co-chair, and what it's going to mean. The more we attend the meetings, the more we realize what a major event it's going to be for Prince Edward Island next year, with so many visitors from across the country. Councillor Adams, you had a comment or question?
Your Worship, just before, I know Councillor Barb has some important things for us to hear about, but before I forget, and Marlene is so good to remind us of things from Culture Summerside, the Mayor and Council Community Barbecue, that is the opening, is Thursday, July the 7th, and so she just wanted to remind everybody that if they can get some help, and we'll, if we're all there to try and ramp this up, whether we haven't been able to do it big time for a couple of years. So I did send everybody an email, so if you just look for that, and then
The time again?
it's Thursday, July the 7th at 5.
5.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yeah. No excuse. No excuse. No excuse.
Thank you for that,
Okay.
Councillor Adams. Okay, is there anything further, Councillor McFeely? If not, we'll continue on. I believe, where are we here?
I think it's.
We're getting close to the end of the agenda. We're going to go with Councillor Ramsey and the police and fire reports and emergency planning.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship, and welcome everyone, my fellow councillors and staff, and all you out there on YouTube land, as Mayor Worship Stewart says. First thing I want to mention is that in 2 weeks, Mayor Basil and council really worked hard this year to bring back the country music amateur talent singing contest, and it's going to be held on July 5th and July 6th at Credit Union Place. We have, I think, 29 contestants for the first night, and then we'll have a final night with 10 contestants. It's going to be a great show. We have the Chad Matthews Band, who will be backing the singers up, and of course we might get to hear a few old Stompin' Tom songs from Chad. And the cost is $10 a ticket, and for under 12 it's $5. So we wanted to make it really reasonable. We just want folks to be able to come out. It's 20 years since we've had the country music show here in Summerside. It's a way of extending our Lobster Carnival festivities from 3 days to 5. And this council is really working hard at trying to even, maybe next year, who knows if we can add an extra night again. It used to be 7 nights, and it used to be 7 full nights. So anyway, we're bringing it up to 5, and so we would really appreciate all the support we can get from the community I know we have lots of singers and lots of great talent, so that should be a fun night, and I just wanted to mention that.
I think too, if you want to mention the main sponsor, and he was so pleased when he was asked, and it was the main- Warren Ellis.
Absolutely.
The main sponsor, and that's for first prize.
Yeah,
And that's, you can mention the dollars, and then the other two sponsors, second and third.
that's right. So our first prize winner is sponsored by Warren Ellis at Chrysler and Dodge for $3,000. Second prize is Cool Breeze Farms for $1,000. And third prize is Anderson Automotive for $500. So pretty good prizes. So we've got a lot of great talent. I did see the list. We've got some great talent going to be there that night, and our judges are second to none. And we have Dan McPherson from what's the Saturday Night Hoedown. He's going to be the MC. So it's just going to be a fun couple of nights all together. So anyway, for people, you know, to come out and enjoy, and yeah.
And Councillor Barb, if you need any volunteers, I know Murray and I told you we'd be glad to help you out.
Absolutely, and I know Cameron's Productions has being the coordinator, and she does have some volunteers set up. But if we need anybody, thank you so much, Councillor. We'll be looking at you to help out.
So did you twist Councillor McDougall's arm to do a number, or is he?
I did not.
trying to
No,
trying to
with
retire?
29 contestants, we might not have much time for any of us to, to do any of that. But it's certainly going to be a good night, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's something that I did many years ago, and so it's a lot of people telling me they're excited that it's back. So hopefully we have a good night.
And thanks to the committee, a lot of work.
Absolutely.
And the tickets, where are the tickets?
So the tickets
Credit
can,
Union Place?
yeah, Credit Union Place. Like I say, they're $10 a ticket,
Okay.
and you just get them at the box office. So, you know, they're selling pretty quick. We only have 450 seats. So if people want to get their tickets as quickly as possible, I think that would be.
And you have names of the councillors that are going?
I do.
Okay, great.
I sent a little note out, and folks let me know. And the other thing is and Councillor McColeman already mentioned this, is that Classic Car Nights, it's starting July 1st, the first Friday in July. And that's just going to be a great night all summer on Friday. So I enjoy going down there and seeing lots of people who I wouldn't have seen, you know, otherwise. So it's a fun night as well. So that's it. I'm going to get into my reports if we're good to go.
Go ahead.
Okay. So my monthly May report for Summerside Police Services. Members attended meetings for the Bridge Program and other provincial organizations, including a Police Executive Committee meeting in Charlottetown and a PEI Chiefs meeting at the APA. Constable Metallic also took part in her first MCPEI Indigenous Committee meeting. Several members attended a video presentation on extremism. One member attended a training on peer support in Charlottetown. 7 members attended training in Charlottetown on incident command. 7 members attended training in Charlottetown on domestic violence prevention. And 1 member attended training on drug recognition expertise in Newfoundland. Several members attended a Zoom meeting at Summerside Police Services on harassment in the workplace, and 1 member attended a week-long course at UPEI on critical incident responses. 2 members took part in the law enforcement torch run in aid of Special Olympics. An escort was provided for the Family Violence Prevention Walk in Summerside. Police and fire provided an escort to the city limits for Western Capitals as they headed west to the Centennial Cup Championships in Saskatchewan. Several members attended a barbecue at Notre Dame Place. Chief and Deputy Chief attended the signing of the Family Violence Prevention Proclamation. Those are some of the events that were attended. And I just want to mention here, as Councillor Adams already did speak about, Police Services and the City of Summerside are looking for a part-time bylaw enforcement officer. So if there's anybody out there interested in that position and wanting to help the City of Summerside out, please apply for that employment. The following is a list of some of the occurrences for the month of May. Calls for service were 567. That's up from April. Traffic accidents were 21. That's way up from April. There was 12 in April, 21 in May. Reported crimes of assault and threats were 18, which was down. It was 29 in April. Impaired driving offenses were 7, up from 4 in April. Highway traffic charges, including speeding, were 86, up from 79 in April. Break-in and reports, business and residential, were 4, which was down. It was 9 in April. And drug enforcement charges, and it does not include the joint forces operations, were 7, and in April they were 8. And today I attended the annual Crime Stoppers meeting with Chief Dave Poirier. I represented the mayor there this afternoon. He had other events going on, and I wanted to, one thing I did find out, and I usually do attend that meeting, but one thing I found out today is the Summerside B and G Club, formerly known as the Boys and Girls Club, and I'll try to get used to that. I want to thank them for their very generous donation of $25,000 to Crime Stoppers, and they do that on a yearly basis, and I was not aware of that. And they do that through the Toonies for kids. And anyway, I was really, I think their whole, their net amount of money there today was something like $59,000, and 25 of that came from the Summerside Boys and Girls Club. So that was pretty impressive to me. So I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys for that. And that concludes my police report. If anyone has any questions.
Is there anybody else?
Go ahead.
I've had a couple of concerns, and we should put them on for the upcoming committee meetings, but one is Mackenzie Drive. A few years ago, they had requested a speed bump down there, and the police looked at it. It wasn't basically warranted, they thought, but I've got 3 concerns over the last bit of the last couple of weeks on speeding on Mackenzie Drive. So I'd like to put that on for our committee meeting. The other area is Glen Drive, and it's Glen Drive coming up from the Linklater Way. When you come to the corner, they're coming to the corner and they have to put their brakes on. And there's kids playing there. So that's another area that we'll have to look at, whether it's a speed bump, but if it is, it has to be down further. So just want to mention that. Brian, could you place those on the upcoming committee meetings? Thank you. Thank you.
And one of the calls I got today was on Putter's Lane, where the cars are coming around that corner fairly quickly, and we're going to have Chief also check that one out. So, yeah, thank you.
If I could just also mention on what you're talking about, Councillor Bruce, the meeting that we had with the gentleman on Maple Avenue, he did send us some links of what they do in other cities and other locations when there are, people are looking for speed bumps or traffic calming or whatever. He sent some links that I believe CIO Rob is going to send to municipal services. But one of the things he did point out is if, say, people do want a speed bump, they have a written letter request that they have to have so many residents sign that are in agreement to it, so that we're not running into things where some people want it, some people don't, and then it creates then the city is trying to deal with it.
Right.
And I thought it was a very good point that he made. So that might really help us in the future.
That is always an issue. It's easy to get a speed bump, but where do you put it? Do you put it in front of my house or my neighbor's house? Or because there is going to be a noise.
And we also know that for some people, when they're removed, because we ran into that on Arcona with Councillor Bryan and myself, people really missed it. So I thought he had some really good points, and we're going to try to implement them through just, at least awareness.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'll go into the emergency measures I think that is pretty much under control, CAO Rob. We talk about it often. One of the things I think is going to happen in the very near future is our community partners, the Christian Council, Norma, and some of the other community partners who we plan really soon to have a meeting with, just for updates and kind of keeping them informed on where we are with our emergency plan. So that's something that will happen in the near future, and maybe you and I could sit down, or a CAO, and come up with some kind of a date that we would be able to do that.
And I do have one thing on that emergency preparedness. As you said, I did attend their monthly meeting, and when we had the last power outage for the city, it was on a Sunday.
Yep.
It's always on Facebook. The department is really good to do those announcements, but what they did ask is, would there be a possibility that there could be maybe a courtesy email or something sent to them when that's going to be happening, simply because their busiest day is Sunday, and some of their people they deal with might not have internet or be on it, and it would just give them a little heads up to let people know through a telephone committee or something. So I said I would mention it.
Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, so if there's no more questions, I'll go into my fire services report. Okay, so the monthly fire service report for May, there were 24 paged out calls during the month, 2 medical first responder calls, 5 alarm panel calls, 3 motor vehicle accidents and fires, 1 structure fire, 2 false alarms, 1 mulch fire, 3 carbon monoxide calls, 1 smoke complaint, 2 miscellaneous calls, and 4 cancel calls. Firefighters trained for a total of 139.5 hours in the following activities during the month of May. Hydrant hookup, pump training, truck work, pack hose, hose testing, air brake exam prep, proctor level 2 final exam, hose training, and pump training. Level 1 exam homework, pump work, hose testing. Congratulations to firefighter Stephen Darash for his recent promotion to the position of captain. Stephen is a 29-year veteran of the department and was awarded the position by placing first in a 3-person competition. Congratulations, Stephen. Pre-plans continue to be developed for Summerside schools and city-owned buildings. These pre-plans will assist our firefighting teams with the layout for buildings that they may not otherwise have a chance to go into. That's a great idea, Chief, to do that, and just to really have a handle on when there is an emergency, what you're going into. Summerside Fire Services has initiated a new OH&S policy that will see firefighters go through annual hearing tests to be sure their hearing is not being compromised. I would like now to announce the summer nights coming up on August 13th. It's the Ellis Family Band, and it's hosted by Summerside Fire Services, and it's going to be a huge street dance. And I believe tickets go on sale on July 9th. Am I correct? And I am not sure of the price of those tickets, $20 per person. So that's going to be a very quick sellout. So July 9th, anybody that's interested in going to hear the Ellis Family Band for the summer nights, Summerside Fire Services.
Is there a limit on the numbers?
I believe there's 1,100, Chief. 1,100 tickets will be sold. So it will be a lovely, large event. So nice with COVID coming to an end and seeing all these things coming forward again. So, yeah. So we're looking forward to that. And that's my report. I do have one resolution if anyone has any questions on the fire service report.
Any questions for the Chair of Fire Services? I do not see any speaker lights on.
We're good.
You go ahead.
Okay. Resolution, June 20th, 2022, COS 21-098, moved by myself, Barb Ramsey, and seconded by Councillor Greg Campbell. Be it resolved that as per direction from Committee of the Whole on June 20th, 2022, City Council authorizes entering into a purchase and sale agreement with Pan American Properties for part of PID number 322073, 2 acres, subject to final terms.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Ramsey and seconded by Councillor Campbell. And I guess it's not a secret anymore, but I think this is for the future location of the new fire hall when we get everything tied together. So
It absolutely is.
Any further comments? The motion was moved by Councillor Ramsey and seconded by Councillor Campbell. More development in Councillor Campbell's riding. Any questions on the motion?
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
I couldn't be more pleased. We've been waiting for a location for this new fire hall for a very long time. We've worked on this time and day in and day out. And I'm just thrilled that we finally have a location. We've already agreed to put the money aside for our new fire hall. I look forward to getting this off the ground. Chief Ron Edmond came back this evening for this announcement, and I know all council are very excited, and our mayor has been wanting this for a long time, and members of council have been wanting this for a long time, and we've all worked together, and it's been a wonderful experience, and it's my pleasure to put this resolution through tonight.
Okay, thank you. I said there's no speaker lights on, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary nay? Carried. Thank you very much, Councillor Ramsey. And we've gotten, I believe, Councillor Adams, your lights on.
I just wanted to just say one thing. Last Thursday, Jays Care Foundation, so it was through the Toronto Blue Jays, and they do some amazing work. They were on PEI last Thursday, and they opened up a field in Lennox Island and also one in Bedak. And then they came into Summerside, and we had the official opening night for the Challenger Baseball in the city of Summerside. So this year, what we did is Jays Care was going to go and visit the Boys and Girls Club too, because they do some great work with them. So my husband Sean and Adam got together, and they decided that, we may as well make it one big event. So they were happy to work together on that, and it was great. It was a beautiful night, and the kids were so excited. And so it's from now on for the whole summer. It's 4:30 to 5:30 every Wednesday on Gordy Field, and that is completely free for the Challenger athletes, and their family and friends are welcome to come, and they are more than welcome to come and sit and watch and enjoy it, or they can get out in the field and help. It's called a buddy. And also, just so people know, our Challenger athletes it was funny because I seen one little girl, and the difference from 2 years ago till now, in that, she didn't want to be noticed. She just wanted to do her own thing, and she was leading the way out there and stuff. So it was really nice to see her comfort level. And lots of times these kids are at the ball field, but they don't get an opportunity to play with their siblings on the field and stuff. So this gives them that. And when they go, if any of them have an opportunity to get to a Jays game, Jays Care always makes sure that they're well taken care of when they get there. And also there's Jays Care works with Cool Way Sports, and they have been providing some of the athletes that are in wheelchairs and so on. It's like a snowsuit or a rain suit that completely covers the whole thing, so they can go out at recess and stuff with their friends, and that's all done free of charge. So it's on Facebook, and it's Summerside Challenger Baseball, and you can reach out, and also to the city, because Ryan and JP were great to help Sean get a night to have it, and supply whatever he needed. So anyways, if there's anybody you can think of in your area that might benefit from that, or just like to go and watch it and help out, then please spread the word. Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Adams. So we've gotten to the end of the agenda, I believe. I just have a couple of comments to make. First of all, I want to pass on congratulations to Bill Skierman as he was appointed Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, and welcome Bill back to Summerside. And also thank you to Tara Maddox, who served in that position for 5 years and worked very hard. And we would certainly wish her all the best. And I got word this afternoon from the committee that the Summerside Citizen of the Year has been chosen, and it's David Groom for his many years of volunteerism for the Kidney Foundation and for his help with the Ukraine families moving here and many things. So that will be presented on Canada Day, so congratulations to David Groom. I spoke with him later this afternoon, and he was very surprised, but the committee made the choice, and we certainly pass on congratulations. So that's all I have on my calendar and for tonight. And is there a motion to move meeting and be adjourned? Sorry, go ahead.
Canada Day, like where it's located, because you had tried a few places, Mayor Basil.
Yes, okay, thank you. Yes, Canada Day ceremonies will be in the lobby area of the Credit Union Place. For many years, we used to hold it at the EPTEC Center for a gathering place for a little reception and then move over to Spinnaker's. But the EPTEC Center has been booked this year. So then we tried to get the lobby of the theater, and they're not open on Canada Day, so we tried to get that, and that wasn't available. So decided we'd have it at the Cup like we did last year. So it'll be a nice little ceremony, and hopefully members of council and their families be welcome to attend. And I understand Three Oaks Band will be playing on the waterfront. So it's going to be, hopefully we'll get some great sunny weather. It will be a nice ceremony for the Citizen of the Year Committee, and the C. Ross Mackenzie Award will be presented to somebody who has participated in the Canada Day ceremony since 1968, I believe it was. The Key family sponsored the Citizen of the Year for Canada's 100th anniversary. And this is what, 55 years? How good are you at math, Bruce? But anyway, it's so we look forward to that. So that's all I have at this point. So it's been moved by Brian and seconded by Councillor Adams with 3 hands going up. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.